Canada's pursuit of the U.S. made High Mobility Artillery Rocket System, HIMARS, marks a critical juncture in its defense modernization efforts, revealing a tension between Prime Minister Mark Carney's vision of reduced reliance on American military hardware and the Canadian Army's pragmatic alignment with U.S.-centric NATO standards. This $5 billion initiative, part of the Long Range Precision Fires LRPF project, underscores the complex interplay of operational needs, geopolitical alliances, and sovereignty concerns in an era of evolving global security dynamics. On December 14, 2024, the Department of National Defense, DND, submitted a formal request to the U.S. government for pricing and availability data on HIMARS, a highly mobile rocket artillery system manufactured by Lockheed Martin in Camden, Arkansas. Facilitated through the Foreign Military Sales (FMS) program, the deal aims for finalization by the end of 2025. An April 8th Army briefing outlined Canada's intent to procure 26 launchers, a move designed to bolster its artillery capabilities amid growing strategic challenges, particularly in the Arctic and along its expansive borders. HIMARS is a cornerstone of modern warfare, prized for its mobility, precision, and versatility. Mounted on a 5-ton truck chassis, it can deploy a range of munitions, including guided multiple launch rocket system (GMLRS) rockets with a 70-kilometer range and Army Tactical Missile System ATACMS missiles exceeding 300 kilometers. Its battlefield efficacy, demonstrated in Ukraine's defense against Russian forces, has made it a coveted asset for NATO allies. For Canada, HIMARS represents a significant upgrade from its aging M777 howitzers, offering enhanced deterrence across diverse terrains, from Arctic tundras to urban environments, while ensuring interoperability with allied forces. The acquisition process requires U.S. State Department approval, followed by formal notification to Congress, a step yet to be initiated. Industry insiders, speaking on condition of anonymity, are optimistic about the deal's prospects. The economic benefits for defense contractors, combined with Canada's long-standing NATO partnership, make approval almost certain, one source told Military Flashpoint. Lockheed Martin's Arkansas facility stands to gain significantly, reinforcing the deal's political viability in Washington. This move, however, arrives against the backdrop of Prime Minister Carney's defense procurement overhaul, unveiled in early 2025. Carney, leveraging his economic expertise as a former Bank of Canada governor, has championed sovereignty as a guiding principle, arguing that Canada must reduce its dependence on military suppliers to safeguard its autonomy. His stance was catalyzed by President Donald Trump's second-term rhetoric, which included threats to Canadian independence and economic measures pressuring Ottawa on trade, energy, and resource access. We cannot allow our defense capabilities to be tethered to a neighbor whose policies are increasingly unpredictable, Carney asserted in a televised address, advocating for diversified procurement to mitigate external leverage. Yet, the HIMARS request highlights a stark divergence between political rhetoric and military pragmatism. Canadian Forces leaders deeply integrated with U.S. counterparts through NORAD and NATO prioritize systems like HIMARS for their interoperability and proven reliability. Shared platforms facilitate seamless joint operations, a critical factor given Canada's geographic proximity to the U.S. and its defense commitments. Retired General Walter Natinchik, former chief of the defense staff, underscored this in a recent National Post op-ed. In an era of Arctic sovereignty disputes, cyber threats, and hybrid warfare, alignment with U.S. technology is not a choice, it's a necessity. HIMARS, adopted by allies like Australia, Poland, and Romania, integrates seamlessly with NATO's command and control systems, streamlining logistics, training, and maintenance. Operational dependencies, however, pose significant risks. The Ukraine conflict offers a sobering lesson. Washington's restrictions on intelligence sharing and targeting data have limited Kiev's ability to use HIMARS against Russian territory, a measure to prevent escalation. Canadian defense experts, including Prof. Michael Byers of the University of British Columbia, warn of parallel vulnerabilities. Policy shifts, perhaps under a future administration less aligned with Canadian interests, our HIMARS could be hamstrung by restricted access to software updates or satellite guidance, Byers told Military Flashpoint. This kill switch dynamic, where U.S. exporters retain control over critical systems, fuels concerns about Canada's strategic autonomy. The LRPF project's $5 billion price tag reflects the complexity of modernizing Canada's artillery. Beyond the 26 launchers, the budget covers munitions stockpiles, software integration, crew training, and spare parts, ensuring long-term operational sustainability. The investment aligns with Canada's efforts to meet NATO's 2% GDP defense spending target, currently languishing at 4%. Critics, including opposition MPs and social advocacy groups, argue that these funds could address domestic priorities like healthcare, housing, or Indigenous reconciliation. Spending billions on weapons while Canadians struggle with affordability is a tough sell, remarked NDP defense critic Lindsay Matheson. Alternative proposals have emerged, notably from South Korea's Hanwha Defense, which has pitched its Chunmoo rocket system as a sovereignty-friendly option. Hanwha's offer emphasizes technology transfer and local production, potentially creating thousands of jobs in Canadian facilities. At the 2025 CanSec Defense Expo, a Hanwha executive highlighted Chunmoo's modularity, which supports both indigenous Korean munitions and NATO-compatible systems. Our proposal empowers Canada to build its own defense ecosystem while maintaining alliance interoperability, the executive stated. Despite its appeal, Chunmoo faces an uphill battle against HIMARS' established track record and Canada's doctrinal alignment with U.S. standards. The HIMARS pursuit carries profound implications for Canada's northern frontier. Climate change is transforming the Arctic, opening the Northwest Passage to increased maritime traffic and resource competition. Enhanced artillery capabilities could deter potential aggressors, from state actors like Russia or China to non-state groups exploiting ungoverned spaces. However, Indigenous communities and environmental advocates, including the Inuit Tapiriit Kanatami, have raised alarms about militarization's impact on fragile ecosystems and traditional lands. The Arctic is our home, not a battlefield, said ITK President Nathan Obed, urging Ottawa to prioritize consultation. Politically, Carney faces a delicate balancing act. The Conservative Party, led by Pierre Poilievre, has capitalized on the apparent contradiction between Carney's sovereignty rhetoric and the HIMARS deal, accusing the government of hypocrisy. Public opinion, shaped by Trump's provocations, remains skeptical of deepening USAM ties. Yet Canada's defense establishment argues that strategic realities trump ideological purity. Alliances are built on mutual interests, not blind trust, noted Lieutenant Gen. Andrew Leslie, a former Army commander. HIMARS strengthens Canada's hand within NATO while addressing immediate threats. Looking ahead, the HIMARS acquisition could reshape Canada's military posture, enhancing its ability to project power in contested regions like the Arctic or support allies in coalition operations. However, it risks entrenching influence unless paired with investments in indigenous capabilities such as software development, munitions production, or cybersecurity. Hybrid solutions, blending American hardware with Canadian innovations, could bridge this gap, but they demand political will and sustained funding. Ottawa's exploration of domestic missile development, potentially in collaboration with European or Asian partners, could further diversify its arsenal. As a military affairs researcher with over 2 decades of experience tracking global defense trends, I view Canada's dilemma as emblematic of the challenges facing mid-sized powers in a multipolar world. The allure of cutting-edge technology is undeniable, offering immediate operational advantages and alliance cohesion. Yet the strings attached, operational dependencies, geopolitical leverage, demand a strategic rethink. Canada must balance the benefits of NATO interoperability with the imperative of self-reliance, lest it become a junior partner in its own defense. For now, the HIMARS trajectory suggests pragmatism will prevail, but the sovereignty debate is far from resolved. Stay tuned to Military Flashpoint for updates on the HIMARS deal, congressional notifications, and competing bids shaping Canada's defense future.